Honorable and Baya, I will engage you as a social scientist after this. I know you are a Fulbright, scholar, but you will get to know that lawyers, in fact, the best lawyer we have, Lord Denning, was a mathematician. And yours truly here is a very good scientist. Yeah, the Honorable Millie Odhiambo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's indeed actually divine that I've got an opportunity to speak after my brother, who is alleging that science is better than the art. I just want to indicate when I was actually in Form 2, when we were choosing subjects, I was one of the best science students. And when I was actually, the classes were divided and we had to be forced to go either art or science. And I refused to do sciences. And I was suspended for 2 weeks for refusing to do sciences. And I went back to school. And because I'm glad I've always been a bad girl, even despite that suspension, I still refused. And the way I refused was to sit an exam. And knowing all the answers, I answered negatively and got 0%. And I was chased out of the science class, not because I was not smart, but because I knew at that point where I am headed, because I knew even though I made a very good scientist, I make an excellent artist. And Mr. Speaker, I have come to realize that our brothers who are in sciences will work on the science issues, but unless you have brains like us in the arts who can deal with protecting your sciences, then you'll not go far with your science. And that is why in my law class, I did my thesis for its intellectual property rights on plant genetic resources, which is part of the basis of what we are discussing here. And that is why I'd actually requested that I be given a chance to talk about the Science Museum, which is under Article 11(2)(b) of the Constitution that provides that the government shall recognize the role of science and indigenous technologies. Mr. Speaker, the essence of my thesis was that in Africa, we have indigenous knowledge, indigenous technology, indigenous plants that are beneficial, but other communities come and take them, patent them, and sell them back to us. I've given an example of Mwarubaine. I've given an example of Endor, the Ethiopian plant in the past in this house, that has actually helped to unclog the system in the US. Of course, it is sad that I'm mentioning US at a point when Kamala Harris has lost, but nonetheless, I don't care whether she's lost or not. I am consistent in supporting women publicly, and so the loss of Kamala Harris is my loss. Mr. Speaker, I just want to say that back to my science issue, I just want to indicate that...
Honorable Millie Odhiambo, the last time I checked, Democrats can't define a woman.
Can't do what?
Can't define a woman.
Define?
A woman.
Mr. Speaker, sir, in our quarters where we are, you have always declared you are Republican. But I want to actually say that this is one of the American elections where I've been torn. On the one hand, I'm not a Trump supporter because he doesn't support the women's agenda, and I'm a very ardent supporter of women. But on the other hand, the reason why I've been torn is because of the role the Americans played in the last elections. So what goes back comes back, bites you the way it bit us. So let them live with that. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, but I'm still mourning the loss of Kamala Harris. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, let America also learn to keep off elections of other places and other areas. So it was sad, I would have really, but they've helped me because my pain is minimized somehow. Mr. Speaker, I do support my brother in this science museum because our younger people will be able to learn a lot of things that our ancestors used, our grandfathers used, our fathers used, that we have considered archaic, because of new and emerging technologies. Yet these things are the ones that actually been the base for emerging technologies. So I really do thank my brother for this noble idea, and I hope that we do put resources into this, but also that it would be an example that we shouldn't only, because here is talking about technologies, it's just that I've come in a bit late, but I'd have wanted to put not just technology, but indigenous knowledge as well. Because, Mr. Speaker, you discover that there's a lot of indigenous knowledge. For instance, as I've indicated, of beneficial properties of plant genetic resources. My grandfather knew almost every cure for snake bites. But now I ask everybody at home, nobody knows, because it was not stored. There was no way of storing that kind of system. So now if somebody is bitten, because in our shags, in our rural home, there are many, many snakes, yeah? Even though now because of increased settlement, they've gone down. And because of that, they observed the way snakes, when they fight, that they can actually use some plants, and he became an expert. But who knows about that anymore? No, nobody. There are medicines for curing cancer. But yet we are having people struggling with cancer when we have herbal medicine. So for me, one of the other things that you should have actually done, Honorable Member, maybe now because you are bringing it as a motion, when you bring a bill, the bill is there. Oh, thank you. Then in the bill, please don't just provide for technology, provide for knowledge as well. Otherwise, this is an excellent idea, and I do support. Thank you.
I've seen new interest from Honorable Edith Nyenze. Could she speak before the mover replies? She will be followed by the Honorable Basil. I thought we agreed we should be winding up this quickly. We want to go to the committee of the whole House. Proceed, Honorable Edith Nyenze.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Let me take this opportunity to congratulate John Kiarie for bringing up this motion on creating science museums. These museums actually will collect and display objects having scientific interests, and this will stimulate curiosity and develop inquiry minds, which will expose our children and adults to positive experiences. And actually, this will help people to cope with the rapidly changing technological environment and empower them by improving their life skills. Mr. Speaker, sir, last month, I had the opportunity of traveling to India with the CEO of innovations in the social protection department, and he had actually assembled 14 vice chancellors, and I also visited with them a university in Hyderabad in Telangana in India. And actually, we visited this university, and what this university does is that it assembles university students after their O-levels. They collect the best brains in India, and they are actually assembled in this university. They don't pay any school fees. They are not taught. They are only taught a few units on innovation, and they are left on their own to come up with different projects, different innovations. And from those innovations, they collect them and come up with the best, and these ones are actually implemented in the country. These projects, these ideas are actually also supported worldwide. The best ones are supported. For example, I even saw a remote controlled vehicle where I also traveled in, and this one is the students who have come up with it. So such a museum would actually be very good to collect information it will be a very good science museum, which can also source for funding. It can also come up, come up with the implementation of such projects, which would encourage our students. Because actually in Kenya, we also have very innovative young people, very innovative youth. So it's the right time, it's the high time. We tapped these innovations, we encouraged them, we sponsored them, and such a museum would actually be a center where even our young people can learn, and all people can learn about innovation, and they continue having big brains to even improve the economy in our country. We've always talked about high rate of unemployment, and these innovations can actually help in meeting the needs of employment in our country. So with that, I support the motion. Thank you.
Honorable Robert Basil, the MP for
Yata MP. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Of course, you know I was supporting Kamala, and I know you are supporting Trump, so congratulations for that. From onset, I support this motion coming from my brother, KJ, protecting me, Mr. Speaker, from Honorable. Kaluma was for Trump, and that's why today is a big day for him. Yeah, so from onset, I support my brother KJ. Basically, we are in the technology world. And if you look at countries like Japan, they have been able to industrialize because of technology. If you look at countries like Israel, they export technology. That is what we refer as exponential age. And when I hear of science, myself, I love science. And a science museum is actually what is going to align us in the technology and innovation path and make us a progressive nation from a technology front. So in principle, science museum should be embraced. And the KNJ did the right thing to bring this motion. So Mr. Speaker, I would tell you that with the technology, our young people who are not very much preoccupied will be put into a busy programs where they'll have a chance to discover, explore, and test ideas. So it is the best way, Mr. Speaker, to make our youth get to use technology and science and actually mitigate the level of idleness and drug abuse, which we have witnessed for the last couple of years, simply because most of our young people today, with the level of education we are acquiring, you find they cannot be able to employ themselves. So with having science museum deployed in many parts of this country, you'll find that the youth will be able to test ideas and be able to become more employable in the years to come. So with those few remarks, I urge members to support this motion so that at least we can move to crafting a bill to make Science Museum a reality in this country. So thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I submit.
the MP for Kajiado East, the Honorable Kakuta Memai.
Kajiado East. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support this motion by my good friend and chairperson of the Innovation, Communication and Information Committee, KJ. This is a wonderful idea to start a science museum in Kenya. This will give our young people a chance to, of course, explore the field of science, natural sciences, and able to exhibit their creation, their innovations, and we will also be able to showcase the innovations that has taken place in different parts of the world, and perhaps that will also become an inspiration and encouragement for our young people to also become innovative and creative. So I think this is a very important museum, and I hope that it will get the support that it needs to be established, and perhaps also get enough funding to be funded so that it will not just become a museum in paper, but it will actually be actualized. Because I've also seen in the existing museum, like the National Museum, so many times I do visit that museum because I really have a great appreciation for the arts, but many times you find it underfunded and not being able to achieve what it was intended to achieve. So I hope that this museum, Science Museum, will be actualized and will give our people a chance to be able to see and bring innovation for generations to come. So I stand to support this motion by my good friend KJ, and I hope, of course, the bill will be also be supported and be detailed enough to help us bring a wonderful science museum in Kenya and inspire innovation, creation, and innovation for our young people. Thank you, and I support.
The Honorable Beatrice Kemei.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to add my voice to this very important motion by the chairman and my good friend, KJ, concerning the establishment of a science museum in this country. Honorable Speaker, I appreciate the fact that in the Constitution, Article 11(2)(p), it provides that the government shall recognize the role of science and indigenous technologies. However, this has not been done from 2010 to date. And that is why I appreciate the MP for bringing